Hi, my name is Warren Ho. I'm joined here today by Mr. Aaron Marsden. We're doing a quick Q&A on the recent BNO visa changes. Aaron, I'm going to ask you some questions.
No problem, fire away, mate.
Aaron, will the new UK settlement reform change the 5-year ILR pathway for BNO visa holders?
The new reform plan actually has no effect on the BNO nationals. Due to them being BNO nationals and the government trying to encourage and keep a good relationship, they will automatically receive a minus 5 years. So everybody's starting off essentially with 10 years. And I must say that this part isn't actually under consultation, but there are some parts of it that are still under consultation. So it's not in force as yet. However, when it does come into force, the idea is that the route now will be 10 years for most visa routes. However, with BNO, it will be less. They will automatically get a minus 5 years.
Second question. Okay, is the BNO exemption permanent, or could the government change it in the future?
I mean, to be fair, it could change. However, likely, had they had the idea of changing it for BNO nationals, they would have put it in place now. It's very unlikely, I would say, that they will make changes later down the line. Given the current figures, I think most people under BNO route, whether that be actual BNO nationals or the dependents, are likely going to be reaching the settlement either next year in 2026 or 2027. So given that the fact that they're looking at the changes, it's unlikely that would go forward. Any changes they would make would surely be done now. Okay.
Why did the UK government introduce the fairer pathway to settlement reform?
The fairer pathway is mainly due to the current pressures that the government has for immigration. Basically, they want to try and make a fairer community way of foreign nationals putting money and putting time back into the UK. Hence why there's these implications for if you've been claiming benefits, and hence why there's reductions and benefits to those that have been working, earning over certain salaries, doing community work, things such as that. So it's part of the government's plan to potentially maybe reduce migration, but also to make it a fairer migration in comparison to other British citizens.
Okay. Does the new rule that increases settlement to 10 years apply to BNO holders?
No, as I said previously, this wouldn't apply. They may get an extension depending, or an increase to the normal 5-year route to settlement if they fall within one of the categories that gives the increase. And now that being the entry of the UK on a visitor visa, this will be looked at negatively. If they entered the UK illegally, obviously again or spent any period of time in the UK without leave to remain, that will be negative. And also, have they made any claim for public funds? Them particular things could cause an increase to their route to settlement. However, the minus 5 years will then be calculated within the increase. So for example, BNO nationals automatically get a minus 5 years, but if they were claiming benefits, they might get a plus of 1 year. Therefore, they would have the overall always gets looked at, so they may have to do an extra 4 years.
Okay, so last question then. Aaron, will the new suitability test make ILR harder for BNO applicants?
Essentially, the suitability requirements for ILR haven't changed, and they'll still be used under the old rules, which in essence is if you commit a criminal offence, or you've breached any sort of immigration conditions, or you've been subjected to civil penalty fines based on an immigration ban, then these sort of things will go against your ILR, as they have done in the past. It's only that the certain things will cause an increase to your settlement, but in essence, suitability requirements haven't changed.
Thank you, Aaron.